back with another episode at the Motivators Table. Yes, this is season 4. Thank you for everybody just tuning in, all my new subscribers, all my old ones, all of my motivators. Thank you. Thank you to Los Angeles Tribune for giving me the spotlight and giving me opportunity just to show where I come from and who I am and just believing in me. Thank you to the Riverside platform. Thank you to all my sponsors, Pro Immune and Focus Pills. Thank you. I appreciate you. But today, I need you to get your highlighters and your pens ready. We have a huge guest today. I want you guys to welcome Miss Sabrina Verney to the stage.
Thank
What's going on?
you.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Joe, for having me. My name is,
Thank you for coming to the stage. I appreciate it. I want you to right now to tell my motivators who are you and where are you from.
my name is Sabryn Verney. I am born and raised in Orlando, Florida.
Mm, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Um, let's find out a little bit more about you so the motivators can get to understand you and know where you're from. Let's get right into it. Tell
All
me.
right. So I'm a financial strategist. So I work with individuals, families, and business owners to plan intentionally for their futures. So I take it from a holistic approach. I show them how all of the factors work together. And I'm very big on education. When we know better, we do better. I do a lot of education because there's a lot of things, especially in finances, that people don't know. They don't teach it in schools. So I educate my clients and I help them get to where they want to go. I like to say you don't have to be a millionaire to plan like one, but we're going to create some in that process.
I love that. I love the fact that you talk about finances because um, our people, our culture, black folks, we do not know a lot about finance. We know about hustling, but we don't know about finance. And we're sounds like sometimes we're scared to even talk about finances. And even myself, when I went bankrupt, I didn't know a lot about QuickBooks and the finances and everything. And that was one of the disruptors that had me go down. But after I went bankrupt, I went to get my master's of business so I could understand my business more in my life and everything like that. So let's get into your finance. Let's get into who you were as a kid growing up. Let's dig deep.
Okay, so I come from a mixed family. My dad was born in Cali, Colombia, and immigrated here when he was young. And my mom is from Houma, Louisiana. So Houma is about 45 minutes away from New Orleans, right in the bayou. So my parents very straight out of high school. My mom was actually 17 when she went in, and they met in Bethesda, Maryland. They were Navy corpsmen at the naval base there. So that's how my older brother came about. They got out of the military after having my older brother, moved to Florida, and they had me and my younger brother. So born and raised in Florida, Orlando, grew up in Seminole County. And then after I graduated from Seminole High School, arguably the best high school in Florida, I went to the illustrious University of South Florida here in Tampa. I'm actually in Tampa right now. Go Bulls. And after graduating from college, I kind of stayed in Tampa for a few years. I worked in hospitality. I was a regional bar manager over 5 locations, very popular places here in Tampa. And then I kind of just got tired of the nightlife. And that's when I shifted into financial services and I haven't looked back. So it's like the overall overarching. My parents were very big on financial literacy. Poor Dad, Rich Dad, that book, they have a board game that we used to play too. And most people have read the book, but they don't know that they had an actual board game with it too. And my parents were very big on just finances because they grew up poor. And that's why they had to go to the military. They used the military to get their education, buy their first home, do things like that. So when it came to us, very big on savings. All throughout high school, my dad was very big about scholarships to get myself through college. Every birthday that we had, they took half of our money, put it away, later used that money to buy a car. So they taught us a lot about financial responsibility. And it it showed me a lot, and I didn't really know the difference, right? Because that's how you grow up, that's how your parents raised you. But
Hmm.
as I got older and I was working in hospitality and I was working with people that were older than me, I'm like, wait, you guys don't do this? Wait, you don't know about this? And this is just simple things. This is high yield savings. This isn't even the stuff that I know now with the investing, leveraging life insurance, disability insurance, trust, all that stuff that I know now, like there's a whole nother level as to what I was taught as a kid. So yeah, just that's me.
I love the fact that you're talking about finance and everything like that. And viewers, I want you guys to understand. Get your highlighters and pens ready. We're gonna dig deep. That's how she was as a little girl growing up. And we want to make sure that she understands that this like I always tell people when we get on this motivators table, like how to activate your gift. And it seemed like at an early age you knew exactly what you wanted to do as far as
Yeah.
finance and stuff like that. So we're gonna dig a little deeper. How was you at your core in high school?
On my core in high school. So it's actually, I was the jack of all trades in high school. I was in choir, I competitively danced, I played travel soccer. I was in Health Academy, which is a special program, a magnet program at my high school. So they got a CPR certified. I actually wanted to go to school for medicine. I did go to USF and I got a health sciences degree until I found out that I was squeamish. So that's when I had to make a pivot. You can't really work in medicine when you can't handle blood. But I'm glad I found that out earlier rather than later. And I tried to coach myself out of it, didn't work. So yeah, high school, I was very, very busy all the time. I'm the middle child. I have an older brother and a younger brother. I'm the middle, but I'm the only girl. So I'm kind of the older sibling. I've always been like a type A kind of personality. I think that shows in high school. Like I even look back and I'm like, how did I go to school full time? Oh, and I had a job at 16. How did I go to school, travel for dance, travel for soccer, played on the high school team, had a job, like I was one of those people. I got my permit right when I was 15, right when I was 16. I got my license. I had a car. I was driving all my friends around. Got a job at 16. Had my own phone plan. Like I've always been very independent in that way, even though I had a great support system in my family. And I think that has transferred over into my professional life because I'm very young in this industry, and a lot of people don't realize. Like people think that I'm in my 30s. I'm 25. So, like,
Back up. Hold on. You I thought I was talking to somebody that was late 30s, early 30s, because of how mature she is, not how she looks. But when I saw you and I met you and I talked to you, you were so mature. You were 25 years old.
I'm 25 years old, yes.
Wow. And you know what? Let me hold on. I'm gonna do something for you real quick. We're gonna do this right here. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, and this is live on the air. It's live on LinkedIn and YouTube. My oldest daughter is 25 years old, and now that it makes sense. My oldest daughter is my manager. She manages all my bookings, podcasts, everything. That is something in the water about the 2,000 babies, probably that right there. So,
Yes.
yes, very articulate, smart. And now that I'm looking at you, you remind me of that situation. So kudos to your parents. They did a hell of a job. 25 years old,
Thank you.
and you out here doing
Yes.
it like that. That is amazing. Don't overlook that right there. I thought I was talking
Yeah.
to somebody that born in the 90s or 2000. I mean 80s and stuff like that. But that's good, man. That is good. I'm so happy. That makes me proud. That makes me super
Yes.
proud because your parents did a hell of a job. And I was in the military too. When my daughter Jaden was the reason why I joined the military, so I could change her outlook on life and stuff like that. So I'm proud of you. But let's move forward. How was you in college?
Um, so I did have some things happen at the end of high school with my family. Parents getting divorced. We had, of course, that strong relationship. We were like the picture perfect family until one day it went left. That happened right in my senior year of high school. It became mom versus dad, had to pick sides. I was very involved, just as me being the type A. I think it's a firstborn daughter thing too. We're kind of like just the managers of our family. And that happened, yeah, my senior year of high school. Like I said, I went to USF. Thankfully, they gave me a full ride. Honestly, when I was applying for colleges, I applied to every college in the state, and I said, whoever gave me the most money is where I'm going to go. And that's why I'm so diehard for USF because they gave me the most money. But in college, I moved here in August of 2018, lived on campus, did that whole thing. Again, wearing a lot of hats in college as well. I my first job at 16 was with PDQ in Sanford, and I actually transferred to the location in Carrollwood. And when I moved over to this location, I tried to go to a smaller store just because I knew how busy it was here in Tampa. And the regional manager was like, no, you're going to go to the busiest store because they need you there. So I wanted to work part time. Didn't really work out that way. I was working full time there. I had small part time jobs here and there. I was a coach at the skills center. They kind of had like this special program right before COVID. Um, I coached a soccer team. I was a note taker at USF, which means that I would upload my notes. They would pay me per class, per quarter. People like athletes, people that might have different disabilities, visual, audio, whatever, just so that they can get those notes in real time from a class. And yeah, full time student. COVID hit in my sophomore year. So after I moved off of the dorm, I moved into the apartment, did the whole thing. COVID hit, we went on spring break, never went back. And I ended up moving home because we didn't really know what was going on. And for me, again, I was working, I was paying all of my bills. Yes, I had this full ride, but life was still life, and I was still partying, you know? Like, I had a roommate my freshman and sophomore year. Freshman year, she didn't work. I worked. So I would go to class, I would go to work, I'd come home, be like, what are we doing? Where are we going? So sophomore year, she got a job. So we were kind of doing that too. So just cycling in friends and partying, because like who doesn't love to party in Tampa? That was back when the study was here, CDBs was here. You know, doing Gasparilla in college is like monumental. So yeah, COVID hit my sophomore year, and I ended up moving home because I was like, if I'm gonna be online, I might as well be online at home rather than paying rent. And that's kind of when my family situation kind of settled down. So I actually had somewhere to go. And so moved back home for a year. As we know, Florida really didn't close during COVID. So USF, I think, was fully online for like 3 or 4 semesters. So I ended up moving back in August of 2021. So I moved home for maybe 9 months, and then I moved back just because I wanted to take in-person classes. That was my last semester of college. And I was part of the first group of graduates that was able to walk the stage again after COVID. So I ended up graduating in 3.5 years. Again, full ride, go Bulls, in health sciences. So yeah, I love college. Me and my friends talk about it all the time. We sometimes don't understand how we did it, how we were full time students working pretty much full time and still had time to do everything else. I think if I tried to do that now, I would fall out.
Man, you did a lot, and we see what you got going on, and we appreciate you. And wow, during COVID, I remember them times. COVID was rough. I was an entrepreneur, had my company, but
Mhm.
I was in Tampa, had a security company called Rat Pack Worldwide Security. We did all the clubs in Soho to Ybor to the Super Bowl to Rolling Loud, everything we did.
Mm.
I remember them days, and we had all the COVID sites, all that. And after COVID, I went bankrupt, and I had to reset myself again and pivot. So I understand. But what it did for me was after I went bankrupt and I had to sit down for a little bit, I went back to school for my master's and
Mm.
had to learn business all over again and understand the language. So that's what COVID, I remember about COVID for me and transitioning and put me in this position now I am today and following my gift. So as we transition into that and after college and everything, what happened after college?
So after college, that's when I started bartending. So I always wanted to, nightlife was part of one of my side hustles sprinkled in here and there. Um, when I was in college, because like when you're young, who doesn't want to be a bottle girl? Who doesn't want to be a bartender? So I started working at a bar in Ybor, and I'm not gonna name any of the names of these establishments. They don't get no free promo out of me. Um, so I started bartending. He ended up buying another location, and I kind of just spiraled. I went from having my first bartending job to being a bar key in like 4 months, and then so I started there in January of 2022. by November, I was the GM of an establishment that he had purchased. So we started at one, he bought another one, and then he bought another one, and he closed the first one. So we went from one, we had two for a little bit, then we had one, and then he bought another one. So when he bought this other establishment downtown, it was more wine and craft beers and food. It wasn't so much like sport bar, like chicken wings and, you know, Hennessy shots. It was like craft drinks and craft wine and beer. So he knew that was more in my wheelhouse as far as his management. So he ended up sending me down there. There was a lovely lady there that was a manager, Leslie. She taught me so much. She taught me everything I knew about the restaurant industry. Like I give my full kudos to her. Like I said, we were in the nightclubs and stuff before, so I was making simple drinks. She taught me like actual craft. She explained the science to me. I mean, ordering, all the Excel spreadsheets, creating events, doing all of that. She showed me all of that. And then she ended up leaving and going into another job. And so I was doing that for about a year and a half. But like I said, it was just, he kept expanding, and I was a regional manager over all of the locations, but I was also the GM of my location. I was working 6 days a week. If I tried to go back to 5 days a week, I was getting cussed out. Like, I was living on my own, but I was paying for an apartment that I was never at. I literally was resting my head there and I was right back to it. And I kind of just got caught in like this cycle. And there was just different things that happened. And I had to just look at myself, and I was like, you know, while I'm making great money and I'm very passionate about this, it taught me a lot about business. It taught me a lot about relationships. I was able, he gave me the room to thrive. I started a brunch event that is still ongoing to this day. I did Taco Tuesdays. I partnered up with different people. I did a lot of things. He gave me pretty much the capital to do that, which I'm very thankful for. But I just had to look within myself and be like, I'm not happy doing this. I'm very good at it, but I don't want to be here forever. And actually, so I actually left September of 2024, but September of 2023, I tried to quit the first time. I didn't even have a plan. I was like, I'm gone. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is just too much. And they had to like calm me down and bring me back. So they convinced me to stay, gave me a raise, did all of this, tried to make things better for a little bit. But then probably after like 6 months, after like the little sweetheart of like trying to win me back was over, it kind of went back into the same thing. So then when I actually quit, I was like, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm done. This was great, but I don't want to be here in 10 years. And I see what other people are doing in this position. I mean, we've had people pass away at work. There's just been different things that have happened, and I went to college. Like, I'm more valuable than this. Not that, you know, doing that as a career is anything bad. That's just not my calling. So I actually had an advisor with New York Life who approached me when I was young. I was 19 or 20, and I had kind of just been seeing what she had been doing, seeing her accolades. She was doing a lot within the company. I saw that there was a lot of opportunities for growth. And so when I decided to quit, again, the second time, and when I actually quit, I still didn't have a plan. I just knew that I didn't want to be there anymore. I ended up calling her, and we sat down, we talked. She kind of went through everything, and I was like, I really think that this is something that I can do. I'm helping people, educating people. I'm still able to leverage relationship building, and do it in a positive way. I'm not getting people drunk and having to deal, you know, getting chairs thrown at me and people trying to fight me and do all this other stuff, having to argue with grown men. Like, I can actually use my skills in a way that's going to be positive for people, is going to leave a lasting impact. And that's something that I knew that I wanted to do.
I love that. I love the fact how you explain that and you jump right into it, you know, and that's where we go from. Like, we talk about how to get in front of your ugly and what happened that ignited you to go start learning about financing. So it was like you had a good time doing the clubs and stuff like that, but you were done. You were burnt out. And you I hear that motivators, like she got burnt out at a certain point and then she started to pivot. And that's what we hear about. That's why we bring the motivators here because we want to talk about that word pivot. So let's talk about how you pivot.
Okay, so like I said, I tried to leave. earlier. But I was very vital in this whole company. Um, it got to the point to where he had 5 establishments. There was only a certain amount of managers. That's why we were kind of all over the place. And so I'm very self-aware and I'm very spiritual as well. And there was just different things and God was showing me different signs and I kept ignoring them. Kept ignoring them, kept ignoring them, kept ignoring them. And when I tell you he would break me down, he would break me down. I mean, I'm having full-blown panic attacks. I'm in the walk-in, like sliding down the wall, like really bad. He's just breaking me down. And then I would get over it. And I would keep going. I'd, pick myself back up, get back to it, break me down again. Okay, pick me up. And I was doing that for like a solid year, year and a half. And at that 6 month point, that's when I tried to quit the first time. Then I let people convince me to stay, and I kept going through that. And when I tell you it took a toll on me emotionally, physically, everything, mentally, like I still am dealing with getting over kind of how I beat myself up going through that because I wasn't prioritizing myself at that time. I was prioritizing money and I was prioritizing, I don't know, being seen, I guess, or like being around and like, I built myself up to this platform and I had to maintain it, but like for who? Because it wasn't for me. So again, I'm very, 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 very thankful for my mother. When we went through all of our family stuff my senior year of high school, it really brought us together. I think if that happened, obviously she's my mother, but that really shifted our relationship, especially because I was becoming an adult. So us as adults, like, they say your mom says, I'm not your little friend. That's my best friend. Like, that's my girl. So there was, and I had always talked about like, oh, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was looking for other jobs, but the money that I was making, the lifestyle that I had built for myself, it was very hard for me to work one job and be able to maintain that, or from how I looked at it, even jobs with my degree, because I was making great money. And I think that's also what kept me trapped. But thankfully, my mom was like, look, the door is open if you need it. She'd been wanting me to come home, been wanting me. I was paying more for my apartment than she pays for her mortgage, her 2 mortgages, actually. So, in my 1 bedroom apartment in Tampa. So, when I quit, I texted her, I was like, hey, I'm quitting and I'm moving home. And she's like, okay, where are you going to live? I said, girl, I'm living with you. What do you mean? So yeah, I moved home, and that was in the process of me talking to Raconda Rollins, my amazing mentor, the one who brought me into the business.
Shout out
I'm
to
kind
her.
of shifting that. Yeah, shout out to her. She's gonna get this podcast.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
so that was kind of in the midst of me talking to her, but honestly, like I just had to drop everything and I had to listen to God because at that time frame, I was like, my lease was coming up for my apartment, and I was like, can I do this for another year? I can't. I can't. If I do this for another year, like y'all gonna have to lock me up in the crazy house because I literally, it was way too much. So the pivot, when I tell you trust in God's timing, walk by faith, not by sight, that was how I pivoted because I literally was like, hey y'all, I'm gonna give y'all a month to figure this out. If y'all want me to hire somebody to replace me, you could do that, but I'm gone. And my owner, I mean, even he was like, well, what are you going to do? And like, asked me all these questions. I was like, I have some things in mind. I don't really know, but he's going to make a way for me because he always has. So that's really how I made my pivot. I I just went for it. And now I'm in a place of building my business. My business, I in the last couple of months have really started to blossom. And I do miss my independence, being on my own, but I realize that, especially in this economy, I need to stay down and hunker down. That way I can buy my house. Or if I want to move somewhere, that's kind of like my next looking out. As much as I want to, get my own place and do all of that, I'm going to kind of stay where I am, build myself up. I have a lot of business ventures that I want to do, and why put an extra cost on myself when I don't need to? So I know a lot of people don't have the support that I have, and that's why I'm very grateful for my mom. She's definitely the definition of unconditional love, And she gave me the space to be able to grow and to be able to figure out my life. Because for the first like 2 months after I left, I was in the bed, like blackout curtains, like not doing anything, like barely eating. I would go to the gym, I would go for walks, but like my body was broke down until finally, once I started, I took my exams and everything, and then once I started with the company, that's when it like I revived. I was like, all right, pity party, you got rid of it, you slept it off, you had your little pity party, now time to get to work.
I love that how you talked about it. And everybody, if you don't understand motivators, she just talked about her pivot. Understand the pivot is very important, and you have to pivot the right way. Everybody talks about the pivot and hashtag that, but you got to pivot the right way. And that's what she's talking about, is making sure that, hey, you know what? She said it, the pity party was over. When you go through your dark days, you have to get in front of your ugly. But when that stuff is over with, you have to make sure if this is really who you say you are, and you're doing these affirmations and manifestations and praying and all that, you got to get to work. You got to jump off the porch. And that's what she did. Now she's about to walk us through how she jumped into finance. So let's talk about that.
Okay, so again, I talked to my mentor, Rakonda Rollins. And so at New York Life, we're holistic financial planners. And what I love about this company is that they teach you everything that you need to know. When they're recruiting people, they look for qualities. They don't look necessarily for knowledge. Not, not saying that it doesn't have to be there, but if they know that you're coachable, that you have an entrepreneurial spirit, that you're a go-getter, like they look for those qualities. And surprisingly, a lot of hospitality people, I don't think that's very surprising, but a lot of hospitality people work in this industry and for this company just because we're already people, and it's just shifting what you talk to people about and what value you bring them. And it's funny because she'd always been trying to recruit me because I'm very similar to my dad. My dad has always been in sales. He sold everything from pharmaceuticals to houses to cars to insurance. You name something, he sold it. So she's like, you're just like him. Like, you need to do this. You need to do this. Not like your personality's for it. You're a black and Hispanic woman. You're very smart. This is something that you've already known about. And even when she came to me to become a client, like that information was like so eye-opening to me. And she knows like I'm a good student. She knew me from high school. She knew my accolades in high school, how I did in college. So she's like, you're literally the perfect person. Like, just give it a chance. So studied for my 215 license, which is health, life, and annuities. That's the basis of what you need to start working for the company. And then once you start working for the company, they give you all the training. I mean, they have classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for you in your first 90 days. They send you to a fundamental career school, which is where they throw the book at you. Not that you have to know everything, but just so you know what everything is and where you can go to look for it. And they just do constant trainings. So I like to say if you just drink their juice, we've been around for 180 years. They have the game on lock. We have the highest financial ratings out of any insurance company. I mean, our numbers, everything, and this is not just me bragging. Like, I do my research and I look at other people too. Like, we are top notch, and there's a reason. So if they give you the blueprint, all you have to do is follow it. So you start with your 215, being able to sell life, disability insurance, long-term care insurance, and fixed annuities. And then they actually push and they pay you to get registered. So getting registered is when you take FINRA exams, your securities licenses, so your SIEs, which is your securities industry exam, which is the foundational one. Everybody in securities has to take that. Once you pass the SIE, doesn't mean that you could start investments yet because you have to take other exams. So the Series 6, the Series 7, the 63, the 65, the 66, the 27, things like that. So the first one is the 6 or the 7. I took the 6. The 7 is a beast of an exam. That's my next one. I'm working on my designation right now. So I got registered, got my 6, got my 63. So I'm able to do investments all over the country, mutual funds, retirement, brokerage accounts, variable annuities, variable life insurance, things like that. I'm working on my FSCP designation, which is Financial Services Certified Professional. I'm going to work towards more designations, and these are college level classes. that the company provides for us. And then I'm going to go back and get my Series 7, which allows you to trade individual stocks instead of just like the mutual funds. So 7 and then my 65, and then I'll have everything under my belt. But I mean, they're very, and the other thing I love about this company is they're constant on education. They tell us, you know, when you get into this business, everybody came from a 9 to 5. Everybody worked for somebody else before. There's some people that were entrepreneurs, but they teach you how to be an entrepreneur. They say, okay, here's your calendar. Calendaring 101. First off is personal time, your wake up, your gym, your prayer time, your reading time, family time. Block this off, keep it consistent, whatever. You know, if you're married and you and your wife go on a date every Friday night, put that on there. All right. Second is trainings, things that they offer. Put that on there. Third, learning. They say an hour every day. They want us to constantly be learning because things are always changing. And I always tell people I don't know everything, but I know where to find you that information. So if you ask me a question I don't know, I'm going to write it down and I'm going to call you either tonight or tomorrow morning once I find out the answer. And that's what I love because I'm always a student of the game. If somebody's going to teach me, if I see somebody that's doing something that I want, I'm gonna go to them and be like, hey, how'd you do that? Because I want to do it too, and I actually want to be better than you at it. So tell me what you do, and I'm gonna make it my
Love that.
own.
I love the ambition. I love that you shouted out the company. That's huge. I never knew. You're teaching us at the motivators table. You know what I'm saying? And the motivators tap in. This is where, like, if you don't know about finance and don't know about annuities and everything like that, hey, tap in with Sabryn. Tap in with the number one insurance company in the world. This is what they do right here, and I love the way that you promote it, and you seem genuinely happy, and that's what it's about. When you activate your gift, you wake up happy, and on top of that, I loved how you described what they said about their schedule. So it's very big for us, especially as entrepreneurs and people that are trying to get their schedule together to incorporate your prayer time, your date time, your kids time, your me time. I said it, your
Mhm.
me. I'm very selfish with my me time. If you disturb my me time, I'm not going to give you the best 100% of JR. So that's the best version of Sabrina. So I appreciate it. Let's walk me in. Give the motivators of example of how you have to sit down with some of the clients. You don't have to mention their names, but just walk us through some of the certain situations that you go through from day to day.
Yeah, so New York Life, we're known for life insurance. People like when I say New York Life, people are like, oh, you're gonna try to sell me life insurance. I'm like, sell you life insurance. Like I do way more than that. But if you need it, you need it. And I don't have to sell it to you, right? If you need it, if you have people that you love and you care about, then you're gonna get it. So, but like I said, we do holistic financial planning. So everything from the life insurance, the disability, the long-term care, investments, being able to help people with their retirement, and annuities is more of the retirement planning. So I sit down with everybody, and my first meetings are always the same. Is I show them my process, the things that I offer, how I can help, and there's things that are part of my work that I can't do, and I work in tandem with other professionals. Like I'm able to offer my clients a will, but I can't do a trust for you because I'm not an attorney. But I have an attorney that I use. Or, if you feel a lot of people feel like they pay too much for car insurance. I don't do that, but I have somebody that I do that with. So in my initial meeting with people is I understand their goals. What are your goals? Have you thought about it? What keeps you up at night? Right? Especially family people, if you have young kids, things like that, or even older people. Like, what are your priorities? And if you don't know what they are, like, I'll ask you questions to kind of help you get you there, right? So, walk them through my process. I show them, what it is that I help them with, explain to them how we do things, because it's a multi-step thing. I think in the life insurance industry, especially like on social media, people see these people like on the calls, cold calling and stuff like that. I don't do that type of life insurance. I don't. I'm in a relationship building business. I'm not just going to sell you something and I'm going to walk away. I want to be here for the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? I want to I want to help you. I want to help your siblings. I want to help your mom. I want to help your niece. I want to get the whole family involved, and I want them to know who I am. So when things like this happen, they know who to go to. So with everybody, it's different. Some people they need the life insurance. Some people they want to talk about investments. So we go through our process, and then we do what's called a fact finder. So a fact finder is like getting everything down on paper. So we look at their income, we look at their housing situation, we look at their assets, their liabilities. do you want to make any large purchases? What is how much do you have in your 401k? Do you have a brokerage account? How much do you have in your savings? Things like that. I like to say I'm the financial doctor, right? You go to the doctor, you might have a cough. The doctor's not just going to be like, all right, here. No, they're going to check your temperature. They're going to listen to your lungs. They're going to take your heart rate. They're going to do all the things that they need to do, and then they're going to give you a solution. So that's kind of how my process works, but for the finances. And some people are like, dang, you're thorough. And I'm like, don't you want me to be? Because it's very easy for me to be like, all right, here you go. Here's some life insurance. But that might not be what you need,
Exactly. And I
right?
love how you broke that down. Motivators, take notes, get your highlighter. She's breaking it down for you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I even have some people that come to me. They're like, this is what I want. I did research. I did this. I did this. I'm like, okay, thank you. I appreciate people that do research. But let's sit down and let's really break it down. Like I said, I'm a very educational person. And I'm also very straightforward. So, like, even some people will come to me and they might already have a plan put together. And I'll tell them, this is a great plan. Don't do anything with it. Keep it. Your advisor's great. Tell them I said hello. Like, I'm not here to just try to sell everybody. Like I said, when we know better, we do better. And we can't plan a trip without knowing where we're going to go, and I help people do that. So I have all sorts of clientele. I have individuals, I have families, I have retirees, I have a few ex-military. I have people with different health conditions. I work with a lot of different people, and because my company is able to offer so much, I'm able to help all of them. So yeah, my process is pretty much the same in the beginning until we figure out, once we know your goals and we prioritize them, because you might have a laundry list of goals, right? And I love laundry lists of goals, but we can't hit all of them at the same time, right? We have to pick which ones come first. Let's hit those, and then let's keep it going. So I kind of help people with that, do it that way.
I love that. And, you've been explaining everything for us very thoroughly. And the motivators are taking notes and highlighters and making sure they understand. And that's the beautiful thing about finance because you broke it down to some of us that a lot of people, we don't understand it like that. And we appreciate you in your verbiage and how you broke it down and in layman terms. We need to understand at the core level what you do and how you do it. And right now, I want you right now to look into the camera and tell a little girl out there how you would inspire your younger self.
I would say to always believe in yourself. You are able, you can do anything that you set your mind to. You just have to be intentional with how you do it. There's a very big world out here. The world is led by men, but we can do everything a man can do in heels. So keep it going, keep your education up, believe in yourself because you got it and you are that girl.
Hey, you heard what she said. She's talking to you, and she's also talking to her younger self. You own it, believe it, and this is a part, of the motivators where we come in and we, what I'm saying, we talk about, motivators mounting up. And I saw you at an event, and I saw, I felt your energy. You can't fake frequency. We always talk about that. I always tell people all the time, like the megahertz that you're putting out and that energy, you can't fake it. So you got to understand who you are. When she's in public doing her thing, you can see at her core this is what she is, what she believes in. And if you never met her, you would love to meet her because this is how she puts out her frequency. She's everything about finance, but at her core, she is just who she are. She is who she is, and she loves life. And I feel that for you. And I appreciate you for just coming on the motivators table and taking your time out of your busy schedule because you are super busy, and we're blessed to have you. You know, and talked about college life and high school and your childhood and everything like that. Um, do me a favor. Tell us where we can find you on your social medias, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your YouTube, your Facebook, whatever.
Yes. So thankfully, my parents gifted me with such a unique name. So all of my usernames, Facebook, LinkedIn, my main Instagram is my first and last name. So Sabryn, S-A-B as in boy, R-Y-N as in Nancy. My last name, Verney, V as in Victor, E-R, N as in Nancy, E-Y. And then I also have a business Instagram page called Wealth with Sabe. That's my nickname. Again, having a unique name has its caveats too, right? Not everybody can say my name. Gave myself a short one. So My Instagram for my business is Wealth, WEALTH, with WITH, Sabe, SABE. It's like Gabe with an S.
I love that. I love that. You guys heard it. Hopefully you wrote that down. And this is where we come to the segment of the show when the motivators, you can't come here to the motivators table and not leave motivated. So I pour into you. So this is what we do. I want you to get your imaginary cup like Peter Pan, hold it up, dump it out, whatever you have in there, dump it out. I want it empty now. Hold it up like this. And I want to tell you, you're special. I'm proud of you, and do not stop. You are touching, inspiring girls like yourself and older women like yourself because you're talking heavily on something that we don't talk about as minorities and that we fail at constantly because we don't understand the language of finance. And you're getting in front of it, and I would love for you to go around and teach classes and do clinics because that's what the kids need. I'm all about all about impacting the children. And we believe in you here at the Motivators table. And we love you and we proud of you. What you're doing right now is so monumental because you make it look really good. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't hurt that you're smart, you're witty, you're beautiful, but you know what you're talking about. And you understand it. You're not just out here just trying to get the clicks and the likes and the followers. You are about the impact. And that's what I tell people all the time. I said, I'm only out here for the impact. I don't care if one person likes my picture or nobody comments. I don't care. I want you to understand this is about consistency and putting in work and impacting. And the Bible says, be careful who you entertain. You might be entertaining angels unawarely. That's definitely what you're doing. You inspired me. That's why I brought you on the motivators table. And thank you for inspiring my motivators. Thank you for just giving them, it's Friday. It's payday for some people. Sometimes people might hit you up right now on your contact page and say, "Hey, I need help with my finance. Can you help me with insurance? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that?" And you're able because you spoke the language to put them in position. And we here at the Motivators table want to tell you, we thank you for that. I know it's not easy out here trying to teach finance, and you say you're 25. You work in a world where you probably people my age boss, and you're doing it. Do not stop. And whenever you need encouragement, whenever you need uplift, don't forget to tap in with the motivators table or just DM the hood motivator. This is what we do. You saw me speak the other night. You see that I'm authentic. This is who I am. I'm not trying to be nobody else. This is my life. God had pushed me to this moment. I ran away from this moment. I didn't want nothing to do with speaking or coaching or any of that. But God was like, "Hey, you went a long way. It's time for you to do this." And when I woke up January 2025, number 44 top 50 motivational speakers in the world. I have my books out, The Elephant, From the Block to the Board, and February 15th, A Good Heart Don't Pay Bills drops on Amazon. I want you guys to go get that book, and I want you to get it too. Go on Amazon when we get off and type in my name, J.R. McIntyre. You'll see my two books. And I would love to have more conversations with you. And we appreciate you having you on. And any last words you want to tell the motivators?
I want to tell the motivators that when it comes to finances, we are already behind as people in all things, given our history. And these are things that other cultures talk about with their families. They talk about it, they teach their kids these things. It is 2026. We don't have an excuse to not know these things anymore. Like I said, I'm very big on education. Have a conversation. Stop running away from it because we are missing opportunities to pass on generational wealth to our children. And that's what I'm here to do. So I'm here. I'm gonna be your friend. I'm not gonna be sitting here trying to be salesy. I'm not that type of person. I just want you to know so you can make the best decision for yourself and your family. I'm always here. Thank you, Dr. JR, again for having me. It has been a great time. I can't wait for next time. I'm gonna be out in Tampa more this year, so we'll definitely be seeing each other a lot more. And yeah, I just love everything that you're doing. Congratulations on, everything that you've aspired to. Keep going. And safe travels to Miami tomorrow. I know you're gonna kill it.
Definitely, I have a speech in Miami tomorrow, and also I will be in Orlando in March at another speaking engagement, which I will give you a free ticket. So you need to come, bring your family, bring your friends. It's something intimate. It's called the Feel Better Tour with AD. Look him up, Alexander the Greatest. and I need you in the building so you can understand what we really do and how we push this positivity of men loving men and putting that energy back out so we can make sure we take care of this tribe. And hey, motivators, this is about wealth management, financial management. Let's get our books in order. Your life, your first business is your life. You hear me? Your first business. So take care of yourself, and you know you can move forward. Until then, hey, I thank you guys for just seeing me on season 4, and we can't wait to see you guys again on the Motivators Table.